Happy Friday and welcome to the Author Wellness Check. We are now live on Instagram on our Self Publishing Mastery channel on Instagram, and we are live here on YouTube. So, welcome everyone, and thank you for joining me. I'll be here for about 30 minutes. And if you have questions, please write them in the chat, and I'll be happy to answer those questions before this live training is over. Yay! We are here today, and can you believe it? It's almost the end of the year. So I hope this was a great year for you. I hope you achieved everything that you wanted to achieve on your writing and publishing journey. But if you didn't, that's okay. There is still 2025. And that's why I wanted to jump in today and do this live training, because I really want you to start 2025 really, really strong. And your author brand is a big part of this thing. But for those of you who don't know me, let me first introduce myself. So my name is Billig. I am the founder of the award-winning education center, Self-Publishing Mastery. I'm a self-publishing expert, a book marketer, an author coach, a speaker, and last but not least, I'm an author. Just like you, I write books. I started writing when I was 8 years old. My first book was traditionally published by MP Publishing, a traditional publisher from the Isle of Man, the UK. And what happened to me was something that happens, unfortunately, to many authors I know, many authors I've helped. Namely, they put the book out there, but they did no marketing. So after having that experience with a traditional publisher, I decided to take the self-publishing route, and that's what I've been doing ever since with my other books. And partly it was because I also have a background in marketing and PR, and I figured, for books, you can apply the same tactics that you apply for other products, because once a book gets out into the world, it's a product. It's still a piece of art, right? But it's also a product because you sell it, and because you need an audience, and because, like every other product that you think of and that you love, you need a brand. Your brand, your author brand, is the foundation, is the cornerstone of all your book marketing efforts. And this is why it is so, so important to get it right, and to get it right from the very beginning. That doesn't mean that along your journey you cannot tweak it or you cannot create it, but it's always good to start with this in place. And you know what? The common mindset is, you should write, and then you should publish, and then you should market to sell. But I was thinking the other day, and I think the process is actually write and market at the same time. And then you publish, and then you sell. Okay? Because if you're a first time author, or even if you have a few books under your belt, but you don't see the sales that you'd like to see, this is partly, I think, because your author brand is not as strong as it should be. And also because many people, and maybe you too, you waited until your manuscript was uploaded on Amazon or Ingram Sparks as a book to start the marketing. And from my experience in working with many, many authors, and I want to show you a few books. So this is one of the books I've done for Lori Led, The Divine Design, such a great case study. I might share it at some point. I have here Nancy Rivard. She's the founder of Airline Ambassadors International, an amazing life story. I have here Lisa McCardle. She's a spiritual teacher. And Dale Aronson, he lives in Arizona, and he just won for this book a golden medal in the reader's favorite competition. So all these are people I've worked with, I've helped, and their books are amazing if you want to check them out. But what I've learned in working with these people and through their success story is that what really helped them to reach their goals, to accomplish what they wanted to accomplish with their books, was number one, to have a really good manuscript. I promise you, and that manuscript is part of your branding, okay? So if you have a great book that speaks to your target audience, people might forgive you for a cover that's not so great. They will forgive you for a few grammar or spelling mistakes just because the story is so good. And the number two, very, very important ingredient in this success story is having an audience. So when you release a book, even your first book, you need to have an audience. And that's why I'm saying you write and you market at the same time. And your author brand, which is actually your identity, so your identity as an author that you portray in the world, which is, I think, a sweet spot between your personality, because you need to be authentic, and um, your reader's profile, their interests, their desires, their needs and pain points if you write nonfiction. So that's part of your author brand as well. And the author brand, so if you have a clear identity, which helps you to stand out in the crowd, makes you very unique. So people know, they can identify you at a glance. And if you think of your favorite brands, even your car, maybe appliances, food, there is a very specific brand. So when you go to the store, you go to the shelf, you recognize it right away. Sometimes you don't even need to read the name, right? So the author brand helps you to bond with your readers at a deeper level. It also helps you to be consistent in your messaging, in your approach. And it also makes you look professional. Like, okay, this author here is someone who knows what they are doing. They are professional. They are in for the long game, because the good thing about the readers is that they are not looking for just one book. They are looking for books all the time, new books, but they are looking for an author that they can connect with, they can love, someone who will keep delivering to them more books and more books they love. It's just like, think about your favorite TV show, right? Uh, you love it and you binge on it and you want more episodes and more episodes and more episodes. So, um, your author brand actually includes a promise to the reader that they can rely on you, they can rely on your talent, they can rely on you providing them more books, more entertainment, more education, whatever the field your genre is. Okay, so we do have a newsletter at selfpublishingmastery.com. If you go there, you can sign up. And I have to admit, I've been quiet for the whole summer, but now I'm back at it because we just won another award as an education center, and I said, okay, I need to keep this going. I really need to uh, um, pay it forward and keep sharing what I know so that I can empower more authors um, to reach their ideal readers, because I truly believe that your book matters. And if you believe it too, then things will get way easier, and you will have more clarity, and you will have the grit, and you'll have the will to keep going even when things, they can go a little slow and they don't go exactly as you'd like. Okay, so being back online and kind of getting back at writing and providing the monthly newsletter for Self-Publishing Mastery, and also working behind the scenes on a group training that will walk you through every step of building an author brand, I thought, you know what? wouldn't it be cool to have like a checklist, when we go to the doctor, like yearly perhaps appointment where we have our body checked to see that, make sure everything is fine. Why don't we have this for the author brand, right? Why don't I come up with, based on everything I've learned, from publishing my own books, but also working with all these amazing authors, what what if I create this author brand wellness check? So here it is. You can see it here. Um, and if you go to the website, and if you sign up, you can get it. I already sent it to my email list, but I would love to send it to you as well if you're interested. So author brand wellness check. And I thought, why don't we go through this together? Because going through this wellness checklist together, it will also help you understand what are the elements that make up the author brand. And then as we go through it, you can think and you can analyze, oh, is this something that you already have? So very important, just to give you a heads up. The author brand, there are two main components. So there is the identity, right? So you can create a fabulous identity, and I'll explain what this identity is. But then the second component, once you have the identity in place, you really need to communicate it, okay? Because if you have it, so if you have a brand but nobody knows about you, well, you don't really have a brand, because the brand is also the intersection between your identity and the intersection between your identity and the communication that you're putting out there to reach the readers. Okay, so the first point in your wellness check is, of course, the identity and the messaging. Very, very important. So we have, first of all, clarity of voice. Readers, there is one Stephen King. People don't want a copycat of Stephen King. They don't want a copycat of J.K. Rowling. And I know there is a lot of talking nowadays about writing to the market. But you can write to the market, meaning that you can pick a genre that you truly, truly love, and that is a genre that's lucrative, so to speak, but it can still be unique. So it has to be your own voice. So that's where the clarity of voice comes into place, and it has to do with your writing, but also with every other message that you put out there on your website, in your newsletter, or social media, and even when you do interviews. So you have to make sure that your voice, your writing voice, but also, as I said, your voice when you um, do public events, is clearly defined and consistent across all platforms. Another thing that's part of your identity and messaging is your genre alignment. People like surprises, they like variety, but also they kind of want to know what they're going to get. So it's a sweet spot between surprising people in a good way, but also meeting their expectations. So that's why in your branding, you need to be aligned with the genre you're writing in. If it's romance, you cannot have a cover that's going to be like a horror type of book cover. So your books and marketing need to be aligned with your genre, making it for readers to know just by looking at your color palette, again, the fonts, your cover, even your headshot. If you're a horror author, you're going to have a certain type of headshot versus whether you're a romance author. Okay, so you need to be aligned with the genre. Also, core themes. The core themes, they are the themes that exists in your book. It can be something like true love, betrayal, friendship, overcoming obstacles, coming of age, different themes. And also, they can also be the values you stand by, and the values that align with the values that your readers embrace as well. So these core themes, they need to be, again, consistent throughout your books and throughout your messaging. Author bio, how about that? How is your author bio? Question. Have you updated lately with your latest awards, maybe, or your latest achievements? How does the author bio look? Please remember that your author bio needs to be as engaging as your book is. It doesn't need to say where you went to high school or university. It really needs to capture your brand, your identity, who you are, and portray you as a human being, someone with whom your ideal reader can identify by discovering shared values, share hobbies, shared activities. All right, so that's number one on your author brand wellness check. So, author identity and messaging, it needs to be consistent across all channels, all platforms, website, Amazon author page, social media bio, social media profile, all that, it needs to be consistent. And if you update something, if you update headshots, if you update um, your author bio, that update needs to go everywhere across platforms. Okay, let's see. Number two, what's on our list? Um, on our author brand wellness checklist. So that's how it looks. And if you sign up to our newsletter and you get it, you can print it out, and then you have here like a little checkbox, and you can make sure, and you can track your progress. All right, visual branding. So that's the other thing. The brand is so much more than the color palette and the fonts and the cover. So the visual aspects. The visual aspects, they are actually imagine, the messaging and the identity, like your body. And then the visual branding are the clothing you're going to wear. So first and foremost, very important, you need to figure this thing out, your author identity and messaging. And then once you have that in place, then you can actually choose the proper visual elements that match those other elements. And the visual branding ties into website design. So your website, it should be visually appealing and easy to navigate, and also be reflective of your brand identity. Social media, same thing. It needs to be consistent with your brand. Like, you kind of have to use the same color palette, same type of imagery, and same profile picture. So you have to look at profile pictures, banners, and other visual elements, and you need to make sure they are consistent across platforms. Book covers. Again, your book covers, they definitely need to align with your genre. So before, let's say, you're publishing your first book, or maybe you're trying to write in a different genre. So when you do that, my recommendation is to go online, go on Amazon, and look at the best-selling books in your genre, and take a look at those covers and see what's common. So what are the common elements for in your genre? Because then it will be really easy. Let's assume that you're going to run an Amazon ad campaign, and when you do that campaign, people will see the title of your book and the cover. So when you target your readers, let's say romance readers, well, that kind of cover that you have on your book, it needs to speak to them. They will recognize it from the cover, that that's the type of book they want to read. Brand colors and fonts, they need to be consistent and professional, and again, consistent with your book genre. And they kind of need to be the same across your website, your book materials, and your promotional content. So number two, very, very important on your author brand wellness check, is that visual branding. All right, let's keep going because we have a few more things to go through here. So that would be the identity, right? The author, the messaging, the identity, and then the visual branding. Those are those things that you create, that you put together, so that you show up in front of your readers as a professional author and as someone that they would want to read and connect with. Okay, so you have that. And now, once you have all those elements in place, now it is time for you to go and communicate them in the world. So it's time to communicate your brand and show up, right? So, how do you do that? Well, you can do that in various ways to communicate your brand. One way is through social media, right? You have to have a social media presence. You have to have a website because your website is your hub. That's where you can collect those email from your readers, which are so precious, so very important to build your audience and to sell books. You can also do interviews. You can go on podcasts, you can go on radio shows, you can go on TV shows. You can also do written interviews, So that's a way for you to communicate your brand. So that's why very important part of your author brand wellness check is your online presence and engagement. So let's start with your social media activity. Um, Experts say that social media doesn't sell books, well, maybe except for TikTok, but social media is a place where you can provide additional valuable content for your readers. That's where they can find you. That's where you can go viral. That's where you can make them to go to your website and sign up to your email list. That's where you can engage with them, that you can reply to their comments, and also they can further share your content with their own followers. So to get there, where you build a following on social media, one very important step is for you to post regularly and not just random posts. It needs to be the kind of content that engages your audience, that speaks to your audience. So it can be there can be posts that are tied into your book themes, and then updates, and you can let them know about your writing progress, personal moments. The rule of thumb here is that 80% of the content that you post on social media should provide value, and then only 20% should ask them to give you something like, hey, sign up to my email list. Oh, I'm running a book promotion. This is the link. Share it with your friends. But 80% should be where you provide value. Another point on this author brand wellness check is your website. Your website should be updated all the time with news regarding your activity. So, for example, Dale Aronson, I was mentioning earlier, he won this gold medal in Reader's Favorite competition. So, we updated his website with that. Blog posts, if you'd like, new books, promotions, anything that would be of interest to your readers. Make sure you engage with your audience. So you need to reply to their comments, the direct messages, emails. And when you get to the point where you get too many of those, then you can hire a virtual assistant. But make people feel seen, make them feel appreciated, because this will make them stick with you. And also careful about the content you share. It needs to be diverse. Can be personal stories, sneak peeks, giveaways. So um, keep them engaged. Are you still with me? Well, I hope you are. We only have a few minutes left. So uh, number 4 on the list is the author platform and the email list. Every author who is successful, meaning that they are able to reach thousands of people, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of people, they have an email list. Even Mark Dawson, if you're familiar with him, he advocates for having an email list. So this needs to be a priority, and it's part of your author brand to grow your email list all the time. All the time, invite people, new people to subscribe to your email list. And these people, if they don't hear from you, and I speak from experience, even though at the beginning they might be really really engaged and excited to hear from you, if you don't keep them in the loop, then they will forget, and then they will turn into cold people. So when you email them, they might unsubscribe, or you will not get the response you want. So you need to have a consistency. Maybe you can send out a newsletter on a monthly basis to start with, and maybe one or two more funny things in between your emails. And then once you send out a newsletter, it is a good idea for you to track the engagement. Because if nobody engages with your newsletter, then what's the point? And by doing that, you can also see what kind of content really speaks to them and grabs their attention, and you can continue creating that type of content and not doing the content that doesn't work. And always include a call to action. People are creatures of habit, so the call to action doesn't have to be, oh, go and buy my book. It can be something as simple as asking them a question, and what was your favorite character in my novel? And you mentioned the novel, something like that, where they get used to interacting with you and replying to your emails. And last but not least, okay, we are here. Very, very important. The marketing and sales aspect is also about communicating your author brand. So your Amazon author profile, I think that that people can follow you on Amazon. If they follow you, they get notifications when you post something new. So um, make sure your profile is complete, that you have a nice headshot, that you have a catchy bio, and that will make people to follow you on Amazon and also want to share your profile with their friends. Book description and keywords, they need to be right. So you need to have a catchy book description, and also the book description needs to be optimized for search, and you have to have the right keywords. Reviews and social proof are another important aspect of your author brand. For example, I'm mentioning Dale Aronson because he's a dear client of mine, and he sent me an email the other day, and he was very surprised that some readers see him as a Renaissance man. So if you don't know exactly how to brand yourself, look at your readers' reviews and see what they say about you and about your book, because this will definitely lead you in the right direction. So the reviews and the social proof, what the readers are saying about you, what editorial reviewers are saying about you, these are important aspects of your author brand. And last but not least, to build your author brand, you need to have a sales growth strategy, because the more people you reach through sales, the more solid your author brand is. So this is the checklist. Again, if you'd like to get it, just go to selfpublishingmastery.com and subscribe to our newsletter, or send us a message, or leave a comment, and I'll be happy to email it to you. And remember, so the 5 areas which you need to check regularly and make sure they stay up to date, and they are relevant to your target audience, are author identity and messaging, visual branding, online presence and engagement, author platform and email list, and number 5, book marketing and sales. And please keep in mind that if you need help with rebranding, branding, we are always happy to help you. We can work with you as consultants and coaches, and show you how to build your author brand, or we can just do it for you and save you the hassle and make sure that your author brand is the way it should be to get you the results you'd like to get. So, author brand wellness check. Do this at least every 6 months, and you'll be on the right track. So this is all for today. I'm planning on coming back live next Friday. And please, if you like this video, make sure you share it with your friends, or hit subscribe. And also go to selfpublishingmastery.com and subscribe to our newsletter. And I'll make a very exciting announcement in the next week. I have something amazing coming up. But for now, um, I'll just say again, thank you for being here today. Don't forget that your book really matters. People need your book. And I will wish you happy writing and happy self publishing. And I'll see you next time. Goodbye.